how real of a risk do you think of financial decoupling between the U.S. and China is?
I hope there is not going to be a decoupling because financial cooperation between the U.S. and China is good for both sides. I can give you a number. Chinese companies listed in the U.S. right now numbered about 250, and the weighted total return of these companies from the beginning of 2019 to right now is 82%. While at the same time, the S&P rose by about 35%. So for all the U.S. investors who have invested in these Chinese companies, they have made a lot more money than the average market return. And it's good for the Chinese companies as well because they have the access, right, to international capital, and listing in New York also helps raise the corporate governance standards of these companies as well.
This threat of delisting that we're talking about, a lot of that has to do with this dispute over how to audit Chinese companies listed in the U.S.
Right.
And there's been a recent example, Luckin Coffee, Chinese company listed in the U.S., revealed that it inflated its revenue. And so the U.S. would say, we need to protect the investors. So we have an agency, the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, PCAOB, and their job is to make sure that audit companies check the accounts of listed companies very carefully. But they can't do that for Chinese companies at the moment because China is not giving them access to the documents they need or to do the inspections they need to do. How would you describe the situation?
Well, Luckin Coffee is an extreme case. Now, financial fraud by listed companies occurs everywhere, not just with respect to the Chinese companies, but with other companies from other countries have similar problems. The PCAOB issue is something that we have, the CSRC has worked for quite a number of years with the PCAOB. Now, we totally agree with them that they have a right to inspect the auditing papers, the auditing companies that do auditing work for the Chinese companies listed in the U.S. And we want to facilitate their work to make sure that they can have an effective inspection of these auditing firms as well as the auditing papers. Now, on the other hand, because many of these Chinese companies listed in the U.S. have operations that have to do with government, and in some cases have to do with the military, the Chinese military. So we want to make sure that in their inspection of these auditing papers, we want to protect national security sensitive information contained in these auditing papers.
In April,
yes.
The CSRC made a proposal
yes.
on how to facilitate that cooperation. And part of that proposal was that the CSRC said China was willing to let Chinese companies directly send the auditing papers to the PCAOB after they got approval from Chinese regulators. Mm-hmm. So this was something the PCAOB rejected because it said this requirement for this pre-approval by Chinese regulators was an attempt to limit their access. How would you describe that situation?
Well, they don't reject that and out of hand. They want to make sure that they can have an effective inspection, right? And when these working papers are shipped for PCAOB to examine, or either when they were presented to PCAOB examiners who may come to China, we want to make sure that all these national security sensitive informations have already been filtered out, right? And now, for most listed companies, there's nothing to do with national security issues. So, for example, we've already let PCAOB examine 2 companies completely without any redaction, without any filtering, One was a real estate company, so there's clearly nothing to do with national security. The other was a general manufacturing firm. It manufactured certain heating devices used in households. And that was done in 2017. But there are, a few companies, companies like Alibaba, or Baidu, for example. They have a lot of contracts with the government and with sensitive agencies in China. So it's these companies that we are still working with the PCAOB to find an effective way. And I guess PCAOB's complaint is that we perhaps have taken out too many papers, so that they say they may not be able to fulfill their goals. But this is an issue that we can work out.